Think about the last time something went wrong in your team. A missed deadline or a miscommunication, a project that fell apart. When this happened, what happened next? Did your team come together to work out what went wrong and how to fix it? Or did it turn into a blame game, people pointing fingers, getting defensive, and the real issue getting completely buried and almost forgotten about? Now, if it was the second outcome, you're not alone. Poor communication happens in workplaces across the world. And in this video, I'm going to share a framework that every leader and manager and even team member can use to help improve communication at work. Let me paint a picture that I think a lot of leaders and managers will recognize. A team has been working on a big project and the deadline is coming up, but the project isn't ready. This leaves the manager super frustrated. Why isn't it ready? One team member blames another for not delivering their section on time. That person says they weren't given the right information in the first place to do it. Someone else says the brief and the goalposts keep changing. And suddenly, nobody's talking about the project anymore. Everyone's talking about whose fault it is. The manager or leader addresses it in the next team meeting, but the conversation goes nowhere because everybody is defending themselves and nobody's listening. And this is a sign of what poor communication looks like in teams. And here's the thing, according to research, approximately 70% of employees are actively avoiding difficult conversations at work. And approximately 53% of people are dealing with problems by just avoiding them. And that's where blame culture starts. So let's look at 3 parts of a conversation that will help you to improve team communication at work. And this is actually part of a workshop that I deliver for teams to help them improve their team communication. And a large part of this comes from the book Difficult Conversations by Douglas E. Stone and others. A fantastic read if you've got the time and energy to read it. I'll leave a link in the description box if you want to check it out. But let's look at the 3 parts to a conversation so that you can improve communication with your team at work. So the first part of a conversation is known as the what happened conversation. This is the surface level part of a conversation and the one where we discuss what actually happened. Who did what? Who said what? Who didn't do what? And although teams may have been given the same information, everyone has different perspectives and everyone sees situations from their own eyes, from their own perspective. Look at this image on the screen. One sees a 6, one sees a 9. They're both correct and neither has taken the time to switch positions to understand the viewpoint of the other. And in the what happened conversation, this is where team members usually assign blame and fault. And as a leader and as teams, this is where we need to move away from blame and move towards curiosity. Rather than it was your fault, it's okay, what were the contributing factors that led to this missed deadline? We're looking at it from an inquisitive point of view rather than a blame point of view. Let's be honest, when you've been blamed for something, how does it make you feel? Nobody likes to be blamed. It doesn't create a good culture when people are blamed. Instead, if we can work out what the contributing factors were that led to this issue, we can then put in systems and methods for next time so that this issue doesn't happen again. Going back to the project example I mentioned earlier, yes, one person may not have delivered the project on time, but they didn't have everything they needed to ensure they got it done on time. So although if you want to play the blame game, you can say they didn't get it done on time, but the contributing factors were that they didn't have all the information to get it done on time. And in almost every situation, there are multiple contributing factors towards the outcome. When you ask contribution questions rather than blame questions, you get to the real cause, and then that's when you can actually fix it. Now, the second part of the conversation is known as the feelings conversation. And this one is happening internally, whether you acknowledge it or not. In that project example, the person who's being blamed is probably feeling embarrassed, or maybe they're feeling angry or frustrated, or they may even be feeling unsupported. And feelings play a big part in communication. When we feel a certain way, we can then portray messages in a way that isn't constructive and doesn't contribute towards the best outcome. Feelings are influencing how people are acting in these disagreements. They influence how defensive people are getting, how willing they are to listen, and whether they can actually be bothered method to work towards a constructive solution. And the way to overcome this and support this within communication at work is to understand and acknowledge other people's feelings. When people feel like their feelings are being heard and listened to, they're more likely to contribute and work together to get towards a solution. If people don't feel like their feelings are being taken into consideration, the conversation can just get stuck there because you're not listening. And the third conversation is the identity conversation. And this is the most internal one, and the one that most people don't even realize is happening at all. It's the conversation that each person is having with themselves. Going back to that project example, the person who missed the deadline might be asking, does this mean I'm not good at my job? Does this mean I can't be trusted? What does this say about me? The missed deadline is one thing, but now all these accusations are attacking their own self-identity. And this is one of the reasons people get so defensive when it comes to mistakes within the workplace. It's not just about them being challenged about the missed deadline or the project failure. It feels like a personal attack on who they are. And when leaders understand this, it changes how they approach conversations. Instead of coming in hard on what went wrong, they create the space for that individual to feel safe and discuss it constructively without attacking their identity. If I'm someone who thinks that I'm always punctual and always on time, and then you attack me for being late, I'm going to say, hey, I'm punctual. I'm always on time. You're directly attacking my character, and nobody likes that. So each team member and each leader needs to be aware of the identity conversation to protect the emotions of others, and also ourselves, being aware of our own insecurities, because then it helps us to not take things to heart, or also helps us understand why others might take certain things to heart. Now, this is a deep topic and one that we could discuss for a long period of time. And if you, like I said, if you want to go into depth on this, have a read of Difficult Conversations. But really, if you want your team to communicate better and work together more effectively, you need to bring them together so that they can understand these concepts, so that they can explore these scenarios to really get a grip on supporting each other and also understanding themselves. And that's exactly where I come in. I help companies perform their best. And one of the ways I do that is through the Art of Communication workshop. If that sounds like something your team needs support with, this can be delivered virtually, online, or in person. Head to the link in the description box and get in contact. But if you're not ready to take action just yet, why not join the free mailing list, where I send out free resources and support that help companies and teams support their people. Now, improving communication at work is one thing, but to help improve communication at work, teams really need to embed a culture of well-being. When we create a culture of good and positive well-being in the workplace, it naturally improves communication. And to understand how to help build a culture of well-being in your workplace across your teams, you need to watch this video right here. But remember, a happy workforce is a productive workforce.